Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how I make my family's favorite meal. That something that was passed down by my papi is our Pollo Guisado recipe. So the first thing that goes in like almost every good like authentic Puerto Rican dish is sofrito, I feel like. So today you're going to see me make sofrito. We've got onions, cilantro, green peppers, and it calls for about like 6 garlic cloves, but listen, in my family we like a lot of garlic, so I got a lot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin chopping this up. So once you get it chopped up, then you're going to proceed to put all the ingredients in a food processor. You know, there's many different recipes for sofrito. This is not like the standard version. This is just how I make it, how we enjoy it. It tastes so good to me and my family. My dad, he always asked me to make the sofrito, so I make it fresh. But I do recommend making it fresh and doing it for yourself. There's so much like flavor that comes from using fresh like onions and peppers and cilantro. And so then once that's all in, and I do it in batches, but we're going to blend that all up. I keep adding until it is basically, you know, a good consistency. It's going to be a little thick. Sometimes I've done it like smoother all the way through. Sometimes it's a little chunkier, but I like it to be at least blended very well. And then that's how it should look at the end. It's like perfect. This green, bright color adds so much freshness to the food. So he made his own rice, my dad, and so with the rice, you know, in a traditional pollo guisado meal, we actually wouldn't use arroz con gandules. This is something that's personally my favorite. I enjoy arroz con gandules, but, you know, as he's showing me the rice, he's explaining to me how, you know, we don't traditionally do this, which I understand, but usually we would use arroz con blanco, white rice, and go with that. But he's making it for me, so, and this is how I like to eat it. But the traditional way is with the white rice. But he wouldn't let me tell you guys his recipe because he said it's a secret. So nobody taught you. You just watched them cook?
I watched my mom and dad cook.
So who would make it more? Was it grandma or poppy? Or
I don't know if he taught her how to do it.
Or she just picked it up?
It depends whoever was cooking that night.
Oh, okay, so both of them would trade off making it basically?
Yeah.
Was there a difference in how each of them made it, or?
Nope. Green peppers, garlic, let that open up. You put your oregano down in there in the oil, let that open up in there. And that's about it.
So you put all your seasonings in first then, basically, when you make yours?
When you put it in the oil, so you put it on the simmer, and you got the onions cooking in there, and you know the onions will sweat down a little bit and give you like a little water. You don't want to fry it. You just simmer it, soften the.
So I do mine differently, where I cook the meat first to get the brown. Like I brown the meat first a little bit to get that in the bottom of the pan, and then I add in the sofrito, the onions, the peppers, everything like that.
You don't have to do all that.
So I'm doing extra stuff, but I like to make mine more.
Oregano got going there. That's one.
That's the one I always use.
And then the bay leaves, about 3 to 4 leaves in there after you got the water and stuff in the pot. You put the bay leaves in there for the flavor that they give off.
When you do the chicken, what do you season it with? Just salt and pepper, or use the adobo too?
I use adobo, cumin.
Okay.
And pepper. The adobo got so much salt in it, I don't use a lot of pepper.
Yeah.
I mean a lot of salt. And I don't use tomato sauce. I use tomato paste.
Okay. I use sauce.
1 can of tomato paste, another can of water. And once you put your chicken in there, on top of that, the chicken has a lot of water in it, and the water comes out of the chicken. So if you got a lot of chicken in the pot and you don't have enough water, you just add a little bit of water. But of course, you're going to use chicken stock.
Yeah, I use the stock, and I use the sauce.
Well, that's fine instead of the. I think it's like almost like a potluck. There was a lot of stuff available for people that would have big families, and they were making like the chicken stew and stuff like that, and rice and beans and all that, because it goes a long way when you make it. So people didn't have a lot of money, they used that.
So that was kind of just a little bit of information from my dad about how he makes his. You know, as he mentioned, he just kind of watched my grandparents make it and picked up from them how to make it himself. So I kind of did it along the same way. I never really watched him making it, but it was something that like I knew the gist of the ingredients that went in it. I asked him, like, and he told me verbally over the phone. So this was the step we were talking about. I added my oil to the pan, and then I like to brown my chicken on each side. He goes in with this step first. I would not normally do this. I normally would always go with the chicken, but he likes to add his onions, his peppers, all that stuff in. Another thing that I'm not including that I would, if I was making the vegan version of this, I would add in green, yellow, red peppers, just to make it heartier because you are lacking the meat. Authentically though, we don't always go in with peppers. I've seen some recipes like that, but not how my family makes it. And then, once the onions set down, we add in the garlic. Because like I said, there's never enough garlic in this family. So we get that in. Once it's fragrant, I then go in with the sofrito and I mix that in. This is, the key part. You can buy sofrito. Like I said, I enjoy making it fresh. I think it just tastes so much better fresh. My dad even agrees. He said that, me making it fresh really enhanced his food because he would buy it. But once that's in, that's when I go in with my tomato sauce. So he was saying how he uses paste. And I think this was something that I got mixed up because I thought he used sauce. So I've always just been cooking it with sauce. He uses tomato paste, which actually he says is like gives it like a richer flavor, which I agree. It's so much thicker. And he would add in a little bit of water to thin it out a little bit, where I go in with the sauce. So next time I think I'm going to try it with the tomato paste. I let that bubble up a little bit, and then I go in with my seasonings. This is the seasonings that he's referring to: the oregano, cumin. You can add a little adobo. I go in with a little bit of sazon. He doesn't really use that as much, as he said. He tries to. Sazon can have a lot of sodium in it, so he tries to cut back from that. But that's how I make mine. And then once that thickens up and you let it bubble, I had cut up some carrots and some potatoes earlier. So I'm going to take that time now and transfer it over to the pot. Once I get the carrots and potato in there, I like to make sure, and if you see back there, I like to mix it in so the carrots and the potatoes get all the flavor. I go in with some olives and the olive juice a little bit. The olives with pimentos and the olive juice taste the best. And then I go in with my chicken stock. He would add maybe some water if he wanted to. Like he said, the juice from the chicken normally produces enough. For his is a little heartier, more like a thick stew, which is probably more authentic. Mine I add the broth in, so it can have like a little bit more of a soupy taste, but it thickens up as the week goes on. Once that's mixed up, I let it simmer. Once it starts to bubble again, that's when I go in and add the chicken back in. If I was making this a vegan version, which I like to do sometimes, I then at this time would add in my mushroom that I probably would have seasoned up. And instead of chicken stock, I use vegetable stock. So if you want to make this meal vegan, it's very, very easy to do. And it tastes just as good, tastes just as amazing. I eat the vegan one with the white rice most times, and it's just as delicious. Another thing that I can recommend for the vegan version, if you don't want to use, white rice or any type of rice, this tastes delicious over quinoa as well, and can just be just as good. So I'm going to make sure all the chicken gets in there. Once all the chicken goes in there, I then add in my bay leaves. He mentioned how when he does his like mixture in the beginning with like the sofrito, the onions and the garlic, he adds his bay leaves in then, which is something I think I'm going to try next time I make this. Because I think it would be really good. I like to try to submerge the chicken, which is kind of hard for me to do with one hand, but I do end up getting it all in there into the bottom so that it can really like soak in it. And then I put the lid on and let it boil for at least an hour. Some people go longer, but for me personally, I think it cooks perfectly for an hour, hour and a half at max. But yeah, this is just my family's recipe. This is something that we enjoy doing. Again, I'm still learning to perfect it. He's got it down to science that he learned from his parents, and I'm grateful for this time being at his house to really learn how to do it for myself. This is it at the end once it was all cooked down, and this is it plated. And you got your rice. I add my avocado. We have to have the avocado, and that's all. I hope you guys enjoy.